Ugh, ads are such poop. Subscribe to Acast Plus now to skip ads and more for just $1 a month. Click the link in our show notes to learn how. And hey, we're on Patreon too. Your support helps cover the cost of running a podcast. For $2 a month, you can get early access to all our episodes ad-free, plus bonus episodes exclusive to Patreon subscribers only. Visit patreon.com/sacrilegious discourse to sign up now. Welcome to Sacrilegious Discourse.
I'm husband.
And I'm wife.
Together, we're reading the Bible for the very first time.
We grew up without religion and wanted to know what all the fuss was about.
Well, what have we learned so far?
That God is a dick, and apparently some people believe in talking donkeys?
We're not trying to pass ourselves off as experts.
Nope, we're just reading the Bible for the first time and giving our first take reaction.
If you'd like to join us in this venture, you might consider starting at episode 1.
Otherwise, jump in wherever you like.
All right, let's go read the Bible.
Yeah, let's get to it. Husband!
Wife!
Do you know what today is?
Today is Saturday.
Q&A Saturday.
That's
but
right.
We're doing it late at night.
Yes, we are.
But it's still Saturday as we're recording, so fuck off.
As we're recording, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So, you got some Q's to A?
I do. Remember we had a question about King of Terrors.
Only vaguely.
We had a question about King of Terrors.
I'm sure you're right.
We did.
Things go out of my brain.
And then we were also like, I wonder if Jews believe in an afterlife.
Yes, I do remember that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're going to rabbit hole some of that shit.
Does good. Because it's hard to talk about the Job shit.
It really is. So I was like, nah, fuck Job.
Right. All right. Sounds good. Let's get into this.
Okie dokie. Okay, so we did have a question about what the fuck is a king of terrors.
Yeah.
And that was in Job chapter 18, verse 14, which goes, "He is torn from the security of his tent and marched off to the king of terrors."
Got it. Okay.
I don't remember what that was in reference to, nor do I care really.
Sure. But we had a question about what it was.
Well, it was Job lamenting,
right.
blah, blah, blah. His hope is gone, kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's what he was talking about. His hope is torn from the security of his tent.
Okay.
And it's being marched to the king of terrors.
Got it.
So the king of terrors is a euphemism for death, either as an idea or as the personification itself.
Got it.
So, it was also in more recent times an idiom for cholera, or even more recently in history for cancer.
Got it. So nothing good.
No, it's always death. Like if you say the king of that old king of terror's cancer.
Got it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we use it as a euphemism.
Sure.
So it's either like a guy like Death of the Endless, like in The Sandman by Neil Gaiman.
Right.
The personification.
Sure.
Or just the general idea of death.
Okay. Yep.
So in answering death question, I was kind of going through other stuff. And then I remembered that in Job chapter 17, verses 15 and 16, there's a question that said, "Where then is my hope? Who can see any hope for me? Will it go down to the gates of death? Will we descend together into the dust?"
Right.
Okay, but our interpretation said the gates of death, but other interpretations that are older say the gates of Sheol. And I was
okay.
Let's talk about Sheol a little bit.
Yeah, sure.
What's a Sheol?
Right.
Right? So Sheol is a place of still darkness which lies after death.
Okay.
It's also
yeah.
in addition to that, a subterranean underworld where the souls of the dead went after the body died.
That sounds familiar in other cultures. Okay.
It's a place where both the righteous and the unrighteous dead go, regardless of their moral choices in life.
Okay.
So it's just like
everybody goes there.
Purgatory kind of thing.
Okay. Yeah.
It's either a generic metaphor describing the grave into which all humans invariably descend.
Right.
Or it's an actual state of afterlife within Israelite thought.
Okay.
So it's another one of those that it's either an actual thing or a metaphor.
Got it.
Who could know, right?
Yeah.
Eventually, though, it was considered a place of punishment meant for the wicked alone and was equated with Gehenna in the Talmud, which I'll get into in a minute.
Okay.
Okay. When Hebrew scriptures were translated into Greek around 200 BCE, the word Hades, which is the Greek underworld, was substituted for Sheol. Because Hades is just the underworld. Right. It's just where the dead go. Right? So nowadays, Sheol is recognized as a more neutral term for the abode of the dead. So again, it's just underworld, it's interesting that purgatory.
The idea of afterlife evolved in the religion itself. Like that's interesting to me because if this is a true word of God, if this is a true statement of things that are right per God,
yes,
why do things evolve? Why do ideas of things evolve?
Well,
so it's just interesting,
right?
Like that aspect of it is interesting.
There's more than one answer to that. The obvious answer is because it's all a bunch of shit, and as we learn more, we realize that it's nothing but myth and legends, right?
100%.
That's the true asshole version answer.
Right.
Okay. The more studious and scholarly answer would be that as times progress and more learned scholars opine on these things and philosophize, they have deeper understandings, and as also more scriptures come to light and they start piecing together clues from different texts, then they're able to come up with better ideas,
I guess.
Okay.
Sure.
That's the more smarty pants answer.
Right.
So the asshole answer is because it's all fake. Yeah. And the other answer is because they get smarter over time. Okay.
I guess. Okay.
So
I mean, I get what you're saying.
Right.
But at the same time, I'm like, I kind of call bullshit. I feel like they just wanted a place of punishment instead of just a neutral, dark place.
It didn't start out as a place of punishment, and it's not seen today as a place of punishment.
In Jewish lore. Because Sheol and Hades or whatever
is just the underworld.
Right, but that became kind of hell.
It did, but it's not viewed that anymore. And I'm going to get into that because that's what Gehenna is.
Right.
Okay.
Got it.
Which is separate from Sheol.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay.
So it's important that you recognize that Sheol was an underworld, then was kind of like hell, and then again was more just underworld grave.
So the current look is kind of more like it's the river Styx. It's like just where everybody goes before they cross over to whatever.
And more than that, it's just kind of a metaphor for the Israelite grave.
Sure. Okay.
So
all right.
It went from one extreme to the other, and then kind of has reached a like middle, like more scholarly, metaphorical. It's just a grave.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So now Gehenna, right?
Right.
What the fuck is that? Right?
Yeah.
Because I always thought that Sheol and Gehenna were the same, but they're not.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
Gehenna, there is an actual place called Gehenna that you can like actually visit today.
Okay.
Okay. It's the Valley of Hinnom, which is a historic valley surrounding ancient Jerusalem from the west and southwest.
Okay.
It's also known by the name Gehinnom, which eventually became Gehenna.
Got it. Yeah.
So it was first mentioned in the Hebrew Bible as the border between the tribes of Judah and Benjamin in Joshua chapter 15.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And I remember when we read that going, oh, okay, yeah, Gehenna, I've heard of that. I know that thing.
Right, yeah.
Okay. It's the site where some of the kings of Judah sacrificed their children by fire. Do you remember that?
Kind of, yeah.
So that's where it became associated with hellfires.
Got it. Okay.
It became associated with divine punishment in Jewish apocalypticism as the destination of the wicked.
Okay.
Because that's where children were sacrificed. That's where they started burning bodies and trash. It was just like these fires that never ended. And so Gehenna kind of became translated into this metaphorical, I'm going to throw you in Gehenna. You're going to go to Gehenna.
Right. So this evolved as well.
It did. And there's still not agreement in different Jewish sects and scholars do not agree on like what it means today.
Sure.
Okay. The King James Version translates both Sheol and Gehenna with the Anglo-Saxon word hell.
Of course they do.
Of course they do. Right. But it would be more appropriate to refer to Gehenna as hell than Sheol.
Right. I gotcha. But so the King James Version is very it's very single-minded in its purpose.
It's one-dimensional and single-minded, yes.
So, I mean, it makes sense. And to admit that there are other places of death other than heaven and hell would be a travesty to what they're trying to do with that book, I guess.
Definitely.
I mean, that's just that's my guess.
It's very childish.
Sure.
Honestly.
Right.
With their these, thous, and, all of the fancy poesy that they try to make it have sounding like fucking Shakespeare wrote it or whatever.
Right.
At the end of it, it's still very fucking childish.
Yeah.
Gehenna is not mentioned in the Torah in the sense of hell, though. Nevertheless, some rabbinic texts maintain that God created Gehenna on the second day of creation.
Interesting.
Even though that's not in the
Torah, it's definitely not there.
Right? Other texts claim that Gehenna was part of God's original plan for the universe and was actually created before Earth.
Okay.
Which there are other myths and legends like Lilith was created before Eve, and you know what I mean? Like there's all these, well, it's not in the Torah, but we just know.
Sure.
I don't know how we know, but we just fucking know.
Well, I'm assuming those are mostly Jewish lore would be my guess. I don't really know that 100%, but I mean, there's a lot of Jewish lore, and there's a lot of things that are not in the standard quote-unquote Bible.
Right.
So, I mean, and those things, generally, you find them in the Jewish lore, so.
Right, but not in, like, their main texts, which is the Torah.
Right.
So, I just still find it very interesting.
No, definitely.
So, Gehenna became a synonym for hell due to its morbid prominence in Jewish religious texts. Because anytime they refer to it, it's always as fires and child sacrifice.
And shit like that.
And exactly. So, I mean, it just makes sense that the two became synonymous.
Yeah.
Rabbinic thought maintains that souls are not tortured in Gehenna forever. The longest that one can be there is said to be 11 months. With the exception of heretics and extremely sinful Jews.
Of course, those ones,
they get to stay there.
Right, yeah. Extremely sinful. Yeah, for sure.
Now, while I was reading up on all this stuff, I came across the name Abaddon.
Oh.
Yeah, that's an actual thing, not just a name that was on the show Supernatural.
Gotcha. Okay. All right.
Yeah. Abaddon actually means destruction or doom. And the Greek name for Abaddon is Apollyon, meaning destroyer.
Okay. Yeah.
And again, this is both a place of destruction and an angel of the abyss. So you see how all of these have like double meanings, right?
Yeah.
Like, is it a place? Is it a person? Is it a metaphor for a thing? We don't know.
Right.
So it means destruction or place of destruction when used with reference to a bottomless pit, often appearing alongside the place Sheol.
Okay.
Which is interesting.
Yeah.
I accidentally
scrolled too far.
God damn it. Okay. In the book of Revelation in the New Testament, an angel called Abaddon is described as the king of an army of locusts.
Okay.
And more. Like there's a big old explanation, many swords and a monster with all these different faces and shit. Like he's scary, but we just kind of left it there for this one. Okay.
Yeah. Because we definitely have not got to Revelation yet.
No, we have not. And so I try to don't look.
Right.
I didn't want to spoiler myself.
Yeah.
Okay. In the book of, I just read that. Sorry. The Protestant commentator Matthew Henry in 1708 believed Abaddon to be the Antichrist.
Okay.
That's a leap, but okay.
Well, I mean, the Antichrist is supposed to foreshadow. I thought the Antichrist was like part of the end of time type thing. So why would he think that Abaddon in the Old And
because
like that's weird.
No, not necessarily. Abaddon is mentioned in the book of Revelation, which is where we talk about the end of times.
Okay.
So he's like, yeah, when they say Abaddon and they also say Antichrist, those are the same.
Got it.
That's his thinking.
So like Abaddon is going to rise from Gehenna / hell and become like that's the Antichrist.
Not necessarily. The Antichrist, much like Jesus Christ, is supposed to be a person born of man.
Okay.
So not rising from anywhere.
But he will embody, Abaddon will embody that person, apparently.
In
that person's take of
it,
whatever.
Yes.
Okay.
And will become like a world leader who unites us all with one common belief system and one language and one money. And that's why, some...
Mark of the Beast, all that shit.
Yeah, modern day Christians freak the fuck out because, that's what... When the EU happened and all of Europe decided to use the euro, that they were just freaked the fuck out. They were like, "It is the end times."
It's like we've set ourselves up to where we can never unify the entire world.
Nope. Because once that happens, then that means it's the end times.
Right.
So globalization is bad, didn't you know?
I mean, to some extent, it depends.
In capitalism and economic senses, yes, it's bad. But in knowing what's happening on the other side of the planet and working together to make a better earth and to, make sure that all of us together have healthcare and food and homes and, clean water.
I always thought the idea, growing up, I always thought the idea of the United Nations was just such a beautiful idea.
So did I. Planet Earth bosses,
Right. But separate, but working together.
Yes,
right?
To make the planet together a better place so that we all have the basics.
But it has zero power.
That makes me sad.
It really does.
When I found out that, and oh my God, my mom and dad are so anti the UN. And so I was always I don't understand why, but if I ask, then.
But it could be biblical. It could be because of the reasons we're just talking about right
exactly.
here. Exactly. If the world comes together.
Right.
This end times. But then again, shouldn't they celebrate that?
Yeah, see, I don't know.
You know what I'm saying? I
would think if you're a Christian and you're about to be raptured, you should be excited, right?
And that's what that's one of those juxtapositions that did I use the right word there?
No.
Okay. I didn't think so. Anyway, it's one of those things that I just never understood.
Right.
It was you want to be raptured, you want the glory of God or whatever, and yet you don't want the things that are going to bring it.
Yeah.
So wouldn't you they claim to welcome it and they're glad that the rapture is coming.
Right.
But at the same time they rail against the things that would bring it.
Yeah.
It makes no sense to me.
Well, think of a uber Christian with cancer. Why are they getting cancer treatments? God clearly thought it was their time, right?
Right.
But my goodness, they will be in there getting that radiology treatment, won't they?
Right, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, okay, so that was Jameson Fawcett. No, that was not. That was a Protestant commentator, Matthew Henry. Okay, moving on. The Jameson Fawcett Brown Bible Commentary from 1871 and Henry Hampton Halley from 1922 identified the angel as Satan.
Oh, okay.
So they just skipped right over Antichrist and went straight to Satan working against God.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was like, okay. That's a big leap.
Do what you do.
Right?
There's
a Methodist publication called The Interpreter's Bible.
Yeah.
And it states, Abaddon, however, is an angel not of Satan, but of God, performing his work of destruction at God's bidding. Okay? It's the whole Satan in the book of Job is only allowed to mess with Job because God gave him permission. So Satan is a tool of God. Evil is only allowed to exist at God's will.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that would to admit otherwise would be I don't know,
admitting that God ain't all powerful and doesn't rule everything.
That's one of those things that it's hard for I think even religious people, if they really have to think about it, that's a hard one.
It is.
That's a hard thing to wrap your head around.
Yeah.
The lack of power of God or the lack of involvement to stop evil by
right.
God, you know?
Well, it's all, they sweep it away. It's all God's plan.
Right, right.
It's not ours to understand.
But
God works in mysterious ways.
That's one of those things that just...
God works in mysterious ways. There.
Right.
Phew. I almost panicked, but then I swept it aside with some, like, just phrase I tossed out, and now I feel so much better.
Right,
Phew.
right.
I was almost in a panic. Jehovah's Witnesses also believe Abaddon is actually a representative of God, concluding that Abaddon is another name for Jesus after his resurrection.
Holy shit.
So is Abaddon
the fuck?
An angel, Satan,
or Jesus?
Who fucking knows, right?
That's
ridiculous.
Like, talk about not getting your story straight.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Okay, so now that I was like going down those rabbit holes, it made me think, okay, well, we were talking about death just now, and then I remembered that you and I were asking, do Jews believe in an after Christ? After Well, that was a Freudian slip. An afterlife, not an after Christ.
Yeah, no, but that's funny.
Do Jews believe in an afterlife?
I don't know.
I don't know
the answer to that.
I kind of don't know either, but even after having written all this.
Yeah.
Okay. And this is a long bit. Okay.
All right.
Because there was just so much, and I just kept like adding more, and I was like, oh my God, this, and I had to stop at some point.
Yeah, you were doing this for hours. I'm like, geez.
I was. It was so interesting. Okay, ready?
Yeah.
Okay, there is no evidence before 200 BCE of Jewish belief in a personal afterlife with reward or punishment. Okay, so at one time, they were like, no, we just die and we're still there, but we're just in that grave in Sheol. We're in afterlife. We're just there.
Yeah.
Okay, we're neither punished nor rewarded.
Okay. All right.
According to Ezekiel chapter 38, the war of Gog and Magog, do you remember us talking about that a little bit?
I do.
Is a climactic war that will happen at the end of the Jewish exile.
Okay.
Apparently, we're still in the Jewish exile.
Sure, okay.
According to biblical commentator and Rabbi David Kimhi, this war will take place in Jerusalem. However, Hasidic tradition holds that the war will not occur as the sufferings of exile have already made up for it.
Okay.
So, I don't know.
So it's either going to happen or not happen.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And we don't...
And there's no... I mean, yeah.
Do you know the answer?
Again, get your story straight, guys.
Right. And the afterlife is known as, quote, the world to come. Okay? Like, the Christians call it the end days. The Jewish call it the world to come. And it's related to concepts of the heavenly Garden of Eden or paradise. Okay? And versus that is Gehenna.
Got it.
Hell.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So...
But these ideas didn't really come into being until about 200 BCE.
After. Yeah.
After 200 BCE. Okay.
Exactly.
All right.
Okay. So we've got heaven and hell, but heaven is the Garden of Eden, paradise, and hell is these fires.
Got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I did not get into it here, but there are a whole bunch of different, what they call compartments of hell.
Okay.
Which I knew that the Catholics have like the circles of hell, like the 7 circles of hell.
Yeah.
And have you heard of that?
I have.
Okay. And then there's, I forget what other religion has like just different compartments, but the Jewish have different compartments of hell. Okay.
Yeah.
And they also have different compartments in heaven.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
So I didn't realize that. I didn't know that the Jewish did all that.
Got it.
So they break that shit down.
So like over here you got your murderers, and over there you got your thieves. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. The accepted Jewish law is that it's impossible for living human beings to know what the world to come is like, and that's why we don't know.
Got it.
Not because it doesn't exist, not because there's no text explaining it, but because once again, it's not for us to know.
That's always a convenient excuse.
Convenient.
Like, you know, it's just not for us to know.
I bet if you just told me, it'd be fine.
Right. You know? Or hell, take a picture, you know?
Right, exactly. There's this Jewish philosopher who became an influential Torah scholar in the Middle Ages named Maimonides. Okay. And he was mentioned a lot. He had a lot to say on these different topics, and so he's quoted a lot. Okay?
Gotcha. Yeah.
he says that any non-Jew, like you and I, for example,
Sure.
who lives according to the 7 laws of Noah, is regarded as a righteous Gentile and is assured of a place in the world to come. So
I've always
but let me just cut you off real quick. I'm sorry.
All right.
I don't know what the 7 laws of Noah are. I started to open that and I had already like gone so far that I was like, you know what? That's another day. Yeah. That's another day.
But it brings me to an idea that I've always had growing up when I was younger. And I thought to myself, why do I need to have religion if I just live a good life? Like if I'm and I know
because God needs to be worshipped and praised.
No, I get that after we've been reading the Bible, but I never understood how any God could be like, yes, you've lived a good life, but you're still punished because you didn't worship me. You're going to
hell, you son of a bitch who didn't worship me.
What do you mean? What the fuck?
Right.
It's fucking screwed up.
Like, I donated everything and I gave away all my worldly goods and I adopted kittens and children and like I'm renowned by everybody as giving the shirt off my back and like I've done all these good deeds and made millions and gave them away and started like Humanities for Habitat or I don't know, fuck man, whatever. I mean, it's almost like I've done great good things, but nope, I didn't worship. I'm going to hell to burn.
Imagine you're a car salesman, right? And you sell like 20 cars in a day. It's a ridiculous amount. But anyway, 20 cars. Okay. And then you get to the end of the day and you're like so excited because you made so much fucking money. And then your boss is like, yeah, I'm really sorry. You did a great job, but you didn't clock in. So we're going to have to give all your sales to this other guy.
Oh my gosh. That is a great analogy.
I mean, I'm just like, but it's like, so stupid.
And you've worked there for 10 years.
Right.
And it's like, really? Yeah. You can't just clock me in.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great analogy. Yeah. Oh my God. So we need to remember, though, that we want to look up the 7 laws of Noah.
We should write it down. This is what I need my whiteboard for.
I'm going to. I have it copy and pasted on my list.
I want a whiteboard.
Okay, I know you want a whiteboard.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, there is a great deal of surviving rabbinic material concerning the fate of the soul after death, its experiences, and where it goes.
Okay.
At various points in the afterlife journey, the soul may encounter the following. Okay.
Ready? Yeah.
There's a thing called Hibut HaKver, which are the pains and experiences of the physico-spiritual dissolution or reconfiguration within the grave.
Oh, okay.
It's the as your body is turning into spirit form.
So as you're rotting.
Yeah, as you're rotting. Okay. Then you might meet Duma, which is another name that you might recognize from the show Supernatural. She was one of the angels in heaven. Duma, the angel in charge of funerary matters.
Okay. Yeah.
Satan as the angel of death or some other equally grim figure. Okay. The Kaf HaKala, the ensnarement or confinement of the stripped down soul within various ghostly material reallocations devised for the purpose of cleansing a soul of contamination, but not severe enough to warrant Gehenna. Okay.
All right.
So your soul is cleansed.
This has reminded me a bit of a department store. There's all these different departments and stuff that are handling different things.
You go through each stage. Yeah. Right. And then of course there is Gehenna. Which is pure purgatory.
Wait, wasn't
in this version
or burning
hell?
Hell.
You don't know.
Right.
You don't know.
Yeah.
And Gan Eden, which is the heavenly respite or paradise, a purified state. Okay.
Yeah.
So the Garden of Eden.
Right.
Okay. The world to come, which is called paradise.
Okay.
And this is where I was like, oh no, I gotta stop. Okay.
Jeez.
But I had to read some of this. Okay.
Okay.
You're gonna love this.
All right.
Okay. So paradise is said to have a double gate made of carbuncle, guarded by 600,000 shining angels.
What is carbuncle?
I don't know, type of metal? I don't know.
All right.
I don't fucking know. 7 clouds of glory overshadow paradise. 7. Count them. 7 clouds.
Yep.
Okay.
Got it.
Under them, in the center of paradise, stands the tree of life.
The one that fucked everything up in the beginning?
I don't know if it's the same fucking tree.
But probably.
That was the tree of knowledge that they ate from.
Okay.
This is the tree of life.
So, okay, the one, okay.
There were 2 trees.
Yeah.
This is the tree of life.
Got it.
I think the tree of knowledge would let them know they're naked, and the tree of life would let them live forever.
Sure. Okay.
So the tree of life overshadows paradise too, and it has 15,000 different tastes and aromas.
Damn.
That winds blow all across paradise.
Amazing.
Can you smell all 15,000 of them?
I suppose it depends how the winds blow in that day. You know?
I smell me some Heinz 57 chicken. Under the tree of life are many pairs of canopies, one of stars and the other of sun and moon. Okay,
this is a little like the turtles all the way down type thing.
Astrology.
Like it's just like there's this massive thing that encompasses whatever. Okay.
Yeah, and like I said, some astrology thrown in there for good measure, right?
Right.
Okay, so. There's the tree and then the canopies, and the canopies have stars and sun and moon, okay?
Yeah.
While a cloud of glory separates the two.
Gotta love those clouds of glory.
This separate cloud from the other 7 that were, up in the sky.
Right.
Okay? In each pair of canopies sits a rabbinic scholar who explains the Torah to you. Okay? You finally get to know the answers. Okay?
That's
He
awesome.
explains the Torah.
Yeah. Okay.
Right?
That's great.
Okay. When you enter paradise, you're proffered by Michael the Archangel to God on the altar of the temple in the heavenly Jerusalem. Okay? So
I wonder if time works different because there didn't used to be as many people as there are now, but people die like
a lot,
like probably thousands a second, How do they keep up with the demand?
Time runs different in heaven, didn't you know?
That's what I mean, so.
It's not yours to know. Stop it.
It's
Stop questioning.
That's convenient.
Mm-hmm.
But I wonder if time ran different back then.
Sure.
Or if it just started after, population became a problem.
Well, I wonder how the other continents
Maybe
Maybe
Santa introduced the time running differently thing.
That could be.
He's like, hey, I don't know how you want me to get these fucking presents out, but we need to change some laws.
Now,
physical laws need to change.
Do you mean Coca-Cola Santa or do you mean Saint Nicholas?
I don't fucking care.
See? But there's always the which guy do you mean?
Oh, there's a lot more than that even.
Oh, I know.
So,
I know. Yes, I do know. One is then transfigured into an angel. So you get to you turn into an angel.
That's awesome.
Okay?
Yeah.
With the ugliest person becoming as beautiful and shining as the grains of a silver pomegranate upon which falls the rays of the sun.
So they're admitting that there are ugly people.
There are ugly people, but
God made those ugly people.
God made them, but they won't be ugly in heaven.
Right. Everybody gets to be beautiful in heaven.
Even the ugly people get to be pretty.
Yeah. The ugly people that God made.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because God makes ugly people.
God makes ugly people.
It's finally.
It's said right there.
It's said. Yeah.
Okay.
The angels that aren't you glad I
Yeah.
I had to go through this.
Stuff.
Yeah. The angels that guard paradise's gate adorn the soul in 7 clouds of glory, crown it with gems and pearls and gold, place 8 myrtles in the hand. Myrtles.
Yeah.
And praise it for being righteous while leading it to a garden of 800 roses and myrtles watered by many rivers.
Wow.
Yeah.
That sounds really ridiculous.
Okay.
Done it? Yeah.
Done it? Yeah. Paradise is divided into 7 sub-paradises.
Of course it is.
Each one 120,000 miles long and wide. I don't know who measured this.
Right? And again, space.
Right.
Okay.
Space-time continuum.
But there's actually measurements of
120,000 miles long and wide.
Okay.
Square. It's a square.
Sure. Okay.
Depending on one's merit, a soul is assigned to one of these sections of paradise. Okay?
So you can be only less good or you can be really good.
Oh, I'm about to tell you.
All kinds of levels of good?
I'm about to tell you the sections of paradise.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Yeah, and after that I had to quit. I was like, I could keep going. There was so much more. Okay? So here are the sections of paradise.
Okay.
The first is made of glass and cedar and is for converts to Judaism.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So you can't be top tier if you converted to Judaism, apparently.
No, that's the furthest out.
Got it.
It's the first in that it's furthest out from the center.
Got it. Okay.
Like it's the outer ring.
Yeah. So like, but that's what I'm saying. But like if you die, the converts are not, never going to make it to the top tier.
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like you're not going to make it to that center ring.
You can't.
Because you're a convert. You're
in paradise though. You're not complaining.
Well, I mean, you might see those other, clouds of heaven or whatever and be like,
no,
you
are content. You're content.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the whole point of paradise is that you're in paradise.
Got
you're
it.
Content.
So then why do they need different sections?
That I don't know. I think that is man-made. Okay, so that's the first. The second is of silver and cedar, and it is for penitents.
Yeah.
The ones that are
no
real
matter
sorry.
where they are, they're always going to be happy.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really fucking matter.
matter.
Okay, I'm just checking.
You got to keep them separated.
I guess.
The third is of silver, gold, gems, and pearls, and it is for the patriarchs, Moses and Aaron, the Israelites that left Egypt and lived in the wilderness, and the kings of Israel.
Okay. All the kings of Israel?
The ones.
The
ones.
But do the good ones and the bad ones get to go?
Probably. No, not the ones that they specifically said don't get to go.
Okay. All right.
There was a whole section on that I didn't copy in that talked about which kings were grandfathered in, so to speak, and which ones were like, whoa, your son was okay, so we'll let you in even though you're evil.
Well, and it's an interesting thing that they say Moses is there because to me, I thought that, like, kind of the thought when he was not allowed into Israel was that was kind of a take on he's not allowed into paradise, right?
But he is.
But he's
in paradise.
He's in paradise. Okay.
Yep. Okay. So the fourth is of rubies and olive wood, and it is for the holy and steadfast in faith.
Okay. Yeah.
The ones who never fucked up in the first place.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
The fifth is like the third, except a river flows through it, and its bed was woven by Eve and the angels, and it is for the Messiah and Elijah.
Okay. So the Messiah and Elijah.
They get their own little section.
Wow.
They get the whole 120 by 120,000 to themselves.
Okay.
Yep. The 6th and 7th divisions are not described, except that they are respectively for those who died doing pious acts and those who died from illness and expiation for Israel's sins.
Okay. So they're like, yeah, okay.
Now, I didn't copy any more than that because, like I said, I had to stop somewhere. But I did read a little bit ahead, and that's just paradise, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Then there's, like, super paradise, which is, like, God's altar.
Okay.
And it also has subdivisions. And so, like, blameless babies.
Oh,
and,
God. Tell me
what's
the dogs
his face?
have a place.
They were not mentioned. Dogs were not mentioned. But
Disney,
all dogs do go to heaven.
That's what I was going to say. All dogs go to heaven.
That's not a Disney
Wasn't
movie.
Disney?
No.
Well, shit. Whatever.
I'm not sure what it was. It wasn't DreamWorks either. But it wasn't Disney for sure.
Got it. Okay.
That one guy that he went off to, he got swooshed to heaven in his
that was
chariot.
Joshua.
Yeah. There's a space for him up in the altar.
Oh, Joshua's
in super
heaven,
super paradise.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. God paradise.
Okay.
I forget. There was some other one.
What about David?
I don't remember. He might be up there too.
But the Messiah is in the lower.
I think he's in the lower heaven.
Why is the Messiah?
I don't fucking know.
That doesn't make any sense to me.
I don't fucking know.
Okay.
I did not make these rules. I did not separate them myself.
Got
Because
it.
I would have just said, here's heaven, y'all go nuts.
Right, yeah.
Everybody, like, gets a tree. Have fun.
Sure, yeah.
Unless you don't want to live in a tree, and then you get, a cave, a house, whatever you fucking want. It's heaven.
Right.
Go nuts. Have at it.
You're God. Why does it got to be 120,000 miles? I don't get it.
It's so arbitrary.
It's really arbitrary. And I think they're going to run out of room eventually.
I think that the whole point of God and heaven is infinity and magic.
Right? That's what I'm saying.
It's infinity and magic. They're not going to run out of room.
Okay, but then why do they measure it?
Again, man-made.
Right. No, I know. I'm just
man-made, stupid. Didn't think it through.
Right.
Didn't get their story straight.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think they were trying to convey super big.
Yeah. No, I get it.
But
get it.
Instead of just using super big, right?
They put a number on it.
if you like it, then you want to put a ring on it.
Okay.
You should have put a ring on it.
Right.
And he did put a ring on it.
Yeah.
And it was 120,000 square feet.
Miles.
That's what I said.
No.
Shut up.
You got anything else for us, or was that?
I mean, I could have gone on.
Okay.
I had to stop somewhere. That's where I stopped.
I'm sure we'll probably dig back into this at some point.
We will have
Maybe
to.
in a Patreon, but sometime.
So the question, I think, in the beginning was, do Jews believe in an afterlife?
I guess yes. At least if you were a Jew after 200 BCE.
Oh, there was also, they're waiting for a Messiah to come.
Yeah, right.
I didn't know that.
Oh, you didn't?
Well,
that's like where the whole like Jesus thing came from. Like that's what it is.
Right, but so Christians are waiting for Jesus to come back.
Right.
The Jews are waiting for, so they might all
Jesus
be waiting.
never arrived for the Jews.
Right, but so the Jews and the Christians might be waiting for the same guy at this point. Because for the Christians, he already came back. He already came once, but he's supposed to come back, right?
Yeah.
And for the Jews, he's supposed to come eventually, right? So they could be waiting on the same guy at this point.
I suppose.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do the other, what's that other religion? The
Islam?
Islam. The Muslims, do they believe that a Messiah is coming?
I think I don't know enough to speak intelligently about that religion as yet.
Right.
So I
obviously
don't know,
I don't either.
I don't know the exact answer to that. I think Muhammad is a prophet of. I don't. That's as far as my knowledge goes, really. And like I know tidbits, just like we are doing with the Bible.
Right.
I know tidbits about that.
I know
religion.
even less about that religion than
I'm not
I do
even going to
Judaism.
pretend to know or think that I know what to say about that.
So, okay, I'm just curious because if they're waiting for a Messiah too, then I don't understand why they don't all get together and be like, so we're all waiting for the same guy by a different name.
Let me ask you, just to for shits and giggles here.
Mm-hmm.
How did different cultures and religions, how did that go in the Bible?
Right.
When they got together.
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah. It didn't usually end up very good.
No, because men are territorial.
Right. Yeah.
And it's all about land.
More than that, God told them to kill the other people.
No, it was all about land.
I know
and
that.
They used God.
I know that.
As a means of taking land and to justify.
Right.
So men are territorial and want land.
Yeah.
And that's what it comes down to.
No, I get it.
Yes.
All right. Do we have anything else to cover?
I don't think so.
All right.
I think I did a lot.
You did a lot. And at some point, maybe we'll do more.
We will do more. Because I need to know the 7 laws of Noah, and I need to know more about all of these sections of heaven. And
right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
I agree. We should work out how many people can fit in 120,000 square miles.
Like standing arm to arm?
Yeah, sure.
Or like if everybody puts their arms up, you get like a certain amount of personal space.
Yeah, right.
But are they like jammed in?
I don't know. Well, I mean,
if you're going to measure by...
We could find... I mean, there's numbers about how many people have died in the world so far. So, like, you could figure that out, kind of.
Okay, but you wanted to know how many people could fit into the space, and it will depend on how you're packing them. Sure. Are you packing them tight, or are you packing them...
I suppose it depends on how many people are up there.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's gonna depend on how many people might possibly be in that place.
Well, I'm thinking that they're probably going to have to be packed in like sardines.
It sounds to me like there's like lower levels where most of the people are, and then there's these other levels where there's only a few things going on,
So we've got like nobody lives in Montana and everybody's jam packed in New York.
Right, and then you got to ask. You have to ask at some point. Does the fact that there's so many dead people mean that it becomes hell?
Oh,
I'm just saying. You've only got limited amount of space. So,
like to me, people are hell. Like honestly.
Right?
Yeah.
You got the people like, I was here. Just no.
And then somebody's like, he accidentally gets booted up to the next level up because there's no more room, and everybody shuns him because they're like, you're not supposed to be here.
Or they start moving people down to Gehenna. So they're like, fuck it, you weren't quite.
You just get the grave.
This person's a little bit better than you, so you're getting
You get
demoted.
the grave.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Bye.
No paradise for you.
Yeah, you're done.
You're
Paradise
merely grave.
You lost paradise.
Yep. That sounds like a song. Lost paradise.
I think it's, yeah, anyway.
We paved paradise to put up a parking lot.
Right. All right, we're just like not ending this.
No, I know.
So we're going to end this now.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Hey, wife, I guess that's the end?
But husband, that's just sad.
It doesn't have to be. We are on lots of social media platforms like Twitter. Our handle there is sacrilegious_D.
For D's nuts.
Oh my God. Stop doing that. Anyway, we're also on Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest. There's a link to all of our social media sites at our website.
Ooh, we have a website?
Yeah, it's sacrilegiousdiscourse.com, where you can also find a link to our merch shop.
We have a merch shop?
Yep, we have podcast-themed clothing, mugs, notebooks, and more, as well as an atheist and science-themed products.
Wow, our fans should really go check that out right now.
Definitely. They can get in touch with us by sending an email to sacrilegiousdiscourse@gmail.com. But before they do that, we could really use some help.
Oh yeah? With what?
Well, it's not free running the podcast, and we need some financial support in order to get better equipment, which will free up time so we can concentrate on our podcast and our fans.
Okay, so what should they do?
Head over to patreon.com/sacrilegiousdiscourse and sign up as a contributor on our podcast. Supporters there receive additional bi-weekly episodes that we record just for our Patreon members for as little as $2 a month.
Also, we'd really appreciate it if you would like and subscribe on whatever platform you're using.
And Apple Podcast reviews help us out tremendously.
Like and subscribe. Leave an Apple review. Join us on Twitter. Support us on Patreon. That's a lot of instructions. Don't forget to say thanks.
Thanks.
Okay, bye.